Hey guys, it's Jen. Welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another weekend prep video. I have got a very full and productive weekend prep video for you today. Of course, it is a weekend, so we have swim meet. I also made these super cute cupcakes for all of the swimmers for doing such a great job. I'm also putting together the kids' Valentine's treats for this week at school. I'm doing some cleaning in my kitchen, and my major project this weekend was to clean out my fridge and organize some of my pantry. So I'm super excited to show you the finished result. Let's get started. Good morning, happy Saturday. I am so excited to report that today is the last swim meet of the season, unless for some reason Connor's relay team makes it to state, or qualifies for state, which I don't think is probably gonna happen, although it's not totally outside the realm of possibility. Probably not gonna happen, but hey, you never know. You just never know. So I'm getting Murphy fed right now, and then I only have about 10 minutes to pack our stuff and get out the door. I did get up early this morning and do 20 minutes on my spin bike, so I've been up since 5, but I think Adam and I are going out for dinner tonight, so I'll have to catch up with you guys after the swim meet. So my kids have been in swim for a long time. I think this is Kira's 6th year of swim, and Connor has been in it for probably the past 3 to 4 years as well. But it takes a lot of parents to run a swim meet, like a lot. So I volunteer as an official. I am either like a stroke or a turn judge, and then I also am a referee as well. So we had a good day at the meet today. Here's Kira doing her backstroke. The kids all dropped some great time. We will not be going to state this year, but I'm fine with that because hallelujah, swim season is over for another year. Okay, so we are going to rewind really quick to the previous day where I made some cupcakes for all of the swimmers. I just wanted to give them a little treat because they had all been doing so well in their events and in their meets. So I'm just putting some cupcake liners into a pan here. I have this huge 24 cup muffin tin. I could try and link one down below. I think I got this locally at Joann's, but I of course didn't have any appropriate cupcake liners, so I had to use Christmas. You know, that's the story of my life, but I don't think anyone really cared. But my plan for these was to frost them with the team colors, and then I also wanted to put some sprinkles on, and I will be decorating them with some aquatic themed decorations. So these are the mixes that I'm using. I got some funfetti yellow cake, chocolate cake, and vanilla cake, and then I got white, purple, and yellow frosting. And then I also got some of these Swedish fish. Some of them are just the regular Swedish fish, and then another package of the Swedish fish friends, which are like turtles and dolphins. They turned out super cute. So I did mix these cupcakes up in 3 batches since they were all different colors. So I started with the lightest color of batter and went to the darkest. I did the white one first, then the yellow one, then the chocolate one, so I didn't have to wash out my mixing bowl. But whenever I make cake mix, I prefer to normally make it in my stand mixer because you do have to beat it for 2 minutes, and it's a lot easier than holding a hand mixer, in my opinion, especially when you're working on other things. So I went ahead and mixed those up, and then I like to use an ice cream scoop to scoop the batter out into the cupcake liners. So I just did that. I try not to overfill them because then they will kind of have like a domed shape on the top, and they won't cook quite as fast, and they'll be harder to frost. And plus, I tried to just make them all as evenly sized as I could, so there would be no fighting over the size of the cupcakes. Okay, so I've got most of my cupcakes in the oven. I still have the chocolate ones left to bake, but then you can see here when they were done, make sure that you don't overcook your cupcakes, otherwise they will turn out pretty tough and dry. But what I like to do is once they're cool enough to handle, after just letting them sit there for maybe like 5 minutes or so, I like to remove them to a wire rack and let them cool the rest of the way. This just helps them to stop cooking, and then they won't be tough. So I'm just putting them on a wire rack, and you want to make sure that you cool these completely before you try and frost them, because if they're still warm, the frosting will melt and you will have a huge mess on your hands. Okay, so here are my chocolate cupcakes. You can see I went with Batman cupcake wrappers. I swear I have so many different cupcake wrapper themes, but I never have like the appropriate one unless it's Christmas. For some reason, I seem to have a ton of Christmas cupcake wrappers, even though I hardly ever make Christmas cupcakes. So I don't know what the deal is with that. I probably just see them on sale and I'm like, oh, this is a good deal. So normally I just make them with whatever I have on hand. It's not obviously a huge deal. Okay, so here are all of my cupcakes. They are done cooling now. You can see I have the yellow ones, the regular white funfetti, and then the chocolate ones. So now I'm going to get started frosting these. When you open up your can of frosting, and yes, I used canned frosting for these. I honestly think that canned frosting and like box mix cupcakes are very acceptable, especially when you're making them for children. They taste good, right? And the best part is that you can get the frosting to pretty much match whatever color you want. They have such a great selection in the stores now, so you don't even have to worry about tinting it yourself. But definitely make sure that you stir the frosting up really well before you start frosting either your cake or your cupcakes. That just makes sure that there are no lumps in it. And I like to use an offset spatula. I think that this is the easiest way to get it done, and it is so much easier than a butter knife. If you've never tried it before, highly recommend it. So I wanted these to have enough frosting on them, but I also wanted to make sure that I had enough frosting for all of the cupcakes. So I just tried to ration it out and divide it out the best I could over all of them. Okay, and then before the frosting sets, you'll want to sprinkle on your sprinkles. I kind of used a mixture of some sprinkles that I had at home, and then I also used some from the tops of the frosting containers that I bought. And then I took all of the Swedish fish and little dolphins and turtles and whatever out of the packages and placed those on the tops as well. And the kids thought that they were super cute. I was like, hey, get it? There's like fish and turtles and dolphins because it's swim. There's like, gave me a little smile, but yeah, they were all super excited to get cupcakes. And then some of the coaches were asking me, is it Kira and Connor's birthday? I'm like, no, I just wanted to bring cupcakes. So here is this cute little cupcake courier. I do not have a link for this because I got this randomly at a grocery store a long time ago, but here is what they turned out like. I definitely don't think these are super gourmet, but they turned out really cute. I did do some with the Oreo crumbs as well, which those ended up being very popular. But this carrier is very convenient when you need to transport cupcakes somewhere. All right, so you guys love it when I share Murphy in my videos, so I'm super excited to share that today's video is sponsored by Fuzzy. If you guys have a pet, and I know a lot of you do, you know that they're part of your family. There's really nothing that compares to having a dog or a cat in your house, and we obviously want to keep our pets healthy and make them as happy as they make us. If you're not familiar with Fuzzy, they are a telehealth service for pet parents, and they offer 24/7 access to personalized pet care from veterinary professionals. How cool is that? Telehealth for pets. It's awesome. So from everyday questions to middle of the night emergencies, Fuzzy has the answers pet parents need. Through live chat and virtual vet consultations available to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, Fuzzy can answer your pet questions, both big and small, and urgent and every day. Another great thing about Fuzzy is that they can also recommend the exact right products for your pet, all of which are handpicked by their established team of veterinary professionals and available at discounts exclusive to Fuzzy members. So from getting your pet's diet just right to meeting their middle of the night needs to finally figuring out what makes their breath smell that way, nothing is too big or small for a quick Fuzzy call. I really love their app. I think it's super easy to use. They also offer a lot of educational offerings in their app, which I think is awesome. And like I said, you get personalized product recommendations. I honestly really wish that I would have had this service. I think it was like 3 months ago. I'll pop a picture up on the screen right here, but it was actually a Saturday evening, and Murphy's eye, just all of a sudden we noticed it was droopy, and he did not have anything else wrong with him. Like, he was eating, drinking, he was walking around just fine. His activity was fine. And so at that point in time, I was like, oh my gosh, what do I do? You obviously want to care for your pets, but you don't want to take them to an emergency vet needlessly and end up with like a $2,000 bill when it could just be treated at home. So I really wish I would have had this service at that time. That would have been the perfect opportunity to just chat with them, shoot them a picture and get some recommendations. The Fuzzy Vet team has helped over 750,000 pets and their parents with with questions, both big and small. And instead of rushing to the emergency vet, you can always check in with Fuzzy first. Often the headache and the hefty bill can be prevented with at-home care. The best part is that right now Fuzzy is offering my subscribers a free 7-day trial membership. You can go to yourfuzzy.com/Jen today to sign up. That's a free 7-day trial at yourfuzzy.com/Jen. And for a limited time, Fuzzy is also offering a special discount of $20 off any of your pet's product needs, pet meds, supplements, food, and more with promo code Jen. That's yourfuzzy.com/Jen for your free trial of Fuzzy with access to 24/7 personalized pet care and vet recommended products. I think you guys will really like it. Check out the link in the description box below. Okay, so now it's time to get some Valentine tasks and treats done for my children because, as you all know, if you're like anything like me, I wait till the last minute to do all of these things. Connor and I went to Walmart to pick out some Valentines for him, and it turned out that they were all sold out of Valentine's cards. Thankfully, he only has 19 kids in his class, including him, so we were able to buy some like little chocolate figurines that were $1 each, and then he filled them out, put the kids' names on them, and signed them with his name. But they're also having a Valentine's party, and his teacher requested that some of the kids bring in snacks. So I am just making up some snack bags here. A bunch of the other parents volunteered to bring like sweet treats, and I was like, well, what can we bring that's not that? So I found these red bags in the holiday section at Walmart, and Connor originally wanted to bring goldfish, but the goldfish were all sold out. So we found these little bags of Cheez-Its. So I just went ahead and put one little bag of Cheez-Its and a couple of Hershey Kisses and a little Kit Kat into each of the bags and tied them up with a twisty tie, and that was super easy. So I just spent a little bit of time putting these together. All right, so here are his Valentine chocolates, and then I also made Kira up some little baggies of candy to bring her friends. I thought that would be cute for her to bring to school. She asked for 7 of those. So those just have a fruit roll up in them and some candy, and then the little baggies for Connor's class. So this didn't really take me that long, and everything turned out really, really cute. Okay, so it is now Sunday, and we are going to get started on my most productive accomplishment of this weekend, and that is doing some cleaning in my kitchen. And also I am going to work on cleaning out my refrigerator and organizing it a little bit better. And then I'm also going to do a restock of my pantry. So I've been wanting to clean out my fridge for a long time, and the swim season has just been so like, I know I keep saying it, but when you have 2 kids that have practice at different times of the night, every single night, it's just like your whole night, you know, Adam and I both is spent running kids to and from practice. And then on Saturdays, you know, the swim meet usually takes up the whole day. So while it's been a super fun season, it's also felt like really, really like a long season. So we're looking forward to a break. We're looking forward to being able to eat dinner together as a family at the same table. We haven't been able to do that except on the weekends for a long time, and just have some more time during the evenings to play games or watch movies or whatever we want to do. So I'm going to start out by doing some dishes. Right now I am washing this cupcake carrier that I showed you guys earlier. I do really love it. It's like the best way, I think, to carry cupcakes anywhere, but you do have to hand wash it. I don't know that. I mean, I don't know. I probably wouldn't put it in the dishwasher because it's one of those things that I'm like, if I melted it and warped it in the dishwasher, I would probably never forgive myself. Okay, so next I'm going to clean out my sink. I have been really liking this Pink Stuff cleaner. There's like several different products that they carry. I found it on Amazon. I can link it down below. It's different. Like, I haven't found it here in the stores. There's also a paste that I use to clean off my stove. But this is more of a cream cleanser. So I use this to scrub out my sink. I think it works great. It's comparable to like soft scrub or something like that. So I just put some hot water in there, pour in the Pink Stuff, and then I use my one of my brushes that I get from Grove Collaborative to scrub the sink out as well as I can. And then I rinse it with really, really hot water. One of the other things you guys might have noticed during my swim season is I just haven't been able to publish as many videos as I would like to. And so I'm looking forward to getting back to some more of that. My weekends are primarily the time when I get a lot of my YouTube work done, and when our Saturdays are totally taken up with activities, it's hard for me to get the amount of filming done that I would like like to. So I do apologize for that. Ideally, I would like to publish 5 videos a week. I know that seems like a lot, but honestly, that's what I would like to do. So we'll see if we can work our way up to that. So the pink stuff also comes with a spray cleaner. So I'm just spraying that on the counter, and I'm going to give that a good wipe down with a hot rag. I did sort of clear off this section of my countertop next to the stove. I used to have kind of like a bin here with a bunch of different oils and vinegars in there, and then I had a spice rack. I got rid of that stuff because this is primarily the place where I'm prepping food to cook on the stove, and I just felt like it was super cluttered. And obviously the more things you have on your counter right next to the stove when you're cooking, sometimes they can get greasy and it's just more stuff to clean up, right? So simpler is better. I'm working towards, I don't want to say I'm a minimalist because I am honestly the furthest thing from a minimalist, but this year I would like to work more on just having less clutter, especially in my kitchen. Okay, so next I'm going to work on cleaning my stove. It didn't really need cleaned all that terribly. There was just some grease splatters on there, and I was going to be doing some cooking today, so I wanted to get that cleared off. I am someone that I just can't work in a dirty kitchen. Like, I know I'm going to get it dirty and I know I'm going to mess it up, but it's just, I can't start out with a dirty kitchen. But anyway, I'm going to use some of my pink stuff cleaner to spray that on the stove. And then I'm just going to use a hot microfiber cloth to wipe that up. If the stove was more dirtier, I guess, can't speak, I would take off the burners and I would probably put some of that pink stuff paste on there, or I would spray it with crud cutter or something like that and let it sit before I tried to scrub it off. But like I said, this wasn't that bad, so a hot cloth took care of it. All right, so now I'm moving upstairs to work on some laundry. We obviously had a ton of towels and things from the swim meet. Both kids have, I think they call them swim coats. I don't know. They're just like these, it's the purple thing I'm putting into the washer right now. They're like insulated on the inside, but then they're waterproof on the outside. It's what they use to kind of walk to and from the pool as they do their events, just to keep them warm. And those were soaking wet, so they needed to be washed. And then I had some towels to wash. And Connor came home on Friday with his winter coat super muddy. So I don't know if they were like out at recess playing in the mud because his boots came home super muddy too. So I needed to wash those as well. Normally when I'm washing coats and sheets and towels and heavier duty things, I do like to use the scent beads. I am pretty obsessed with having my laundry smell really good, so I like to use those any chance that I get. All right, so I'm back down in the kitchen now and I'm working on washing off some of my pantry containers. I went through and kind of just did a quick scan of my pantry, looking for anything that was expired or needed to be cleaned out or was just old and stale. And I had several of these. There are some OXO containers and then also some of the Better Homes and Gardens ones that I got from Walmart. And then I have a few snack organizers, which I'll show you here in a second. And I took those apart to the best of my ability and just put them in the sink and washed those out with hot soapy water. Yes, the water was way too hot. That was the easiest way, I thought, to be able to sort of get all the crumbs out and make sure that they were clean. Okay, so once my sink was clean, I also needed to get some produce washed up, and this was for lunch actually on this day. I was making some lunch for the kids, and these strawberries were looking a little bit worse for the wear. I probably should have washed them and used them. There were a couple in there that were quite mushy that I had to take out and discard. But I usually just soak those in my salad spinner. If you guys don't have a salad spinner, you totally need one. I'll link mine down below. There's a couple different sizes. I like this big one for washing produce, and then I like the smaller one for washing herbs, but you can see that I cut my cucumber into 3 pieces and I'm washing that in my little one as well. So while the cucumber is soaking, I'm just going to cut up some strawberries. I just made the kids sandwiches and some chips and some fruit for lunch on this day because I can't be bothered to make a fancy lunch when I'm trying to get a bunch of stuff done in the kitchen. So I'm just going to cut these strawberries up and put them in a container, and then I did mix them with some cut up apples vegetables too. All right, so here's my cucumber. I'm gonna go ahead and slice that up. I had some ranch dip in the refrigerator, and then I also had some jalapeno dip. So we went ahead and served that with some peppers and some cucumbers, and I had also washed up some cherry tomatoes as well. Okay, so here are those snack organizers I was telling you guys about. I believe I got one of these at Walmart and the other one on Amazon. I can link both of them down below. I honestly, when I first bought these, I was like, these are kind of a gimmick. Like, do I really need these? But honestly, they have been super helpful in organizing all of our like granola bars, trail mix, chips, stuff like that. You guys know, if you have kids, they're constantly needing to pack lunches, take snacks to soccer practice, grab a snack after school, blah, all of the all of the things that kids need. So having these has really helped me keep my pantry a little bit more organized. I'm not going to say that it's like totally organized, but I did go ahead and spray these and wipe them down with my Mrs. Meyer's spray. And I thought these clear containers would fit on the bottom tier of that particular organizer, but alas, they did not. But you can adjust this one. So I did kind of adjust it down so that I could have some space in between the tiers to store some different items, but I'm gonna go ahead and wipe the other one down now. This one is a little bit larger, and in the bottom I wanted to put like little packages of like Cheez-Its, animal crackers, little cookies, stuff like that. And in the top, it has a space for more like granola bar type items. So I'll show you how I did that here in a second. Okay, so here's the top tier of that larger organizer. And lately, Kira has been eating Cliff Bars for breakfast. She is not a huge breakfast eater, but I don't know. I don't really like sending her to school on an empty stomach, especially since she doesn't, they leave for school at like 7:30 and they don't eat lunch until afternoon. So normally I'll send her with a Cliff Bar and a water bottle, and she'll just eat that on the bus, which is better than not having any breakfast at all, in my opinion. So I did pick up some of these at Walmart, and then I also had some kind of Cliff Bar knockoffs from Aldi as well. And then I also got a Variety Fun box in the mail this week, and so I had to organize that variety of snacks as well. So there came some granola bars in there and things like that. And then I also had some of these organic Simply Nature granola bars from Aldi that I had gotten during my last Aldi haul. You guys just saw that video a couple of days ago, so I wanted to organize those in this section as well. On the other side of this, I had some trail mix from Aldi that I thought I would organize in there. We will see how this goes over. I have not purchased trail mix in a long time. Connor is not the biggest fan of like peanuts, so we'll see how he does. I actually sent that in his bag as a snack earlier today, so we'll see if he eats that or not. All right, so ta-da! Top rack of the organizer is done. And for the bottom rack, I really kind of wish that this had some better sections or organization in it, but it's basically just like a huge container. So I had some animal crackers in there, and then I had some of these chocolate chip cookies that I got from Aldi a couple weeks ago, so I stuck those in there. And then we had a ton of Cheez-Its from the Variety Fun box, and then Connor also picked out some Cheez-It snack mix when we were at the store as well, in the little bags. So I put those in the bottom of there, basically just trying to fit in as many as I can. And I was really happy to get this done this weekend because it's something that I've been wanting to do for quite a while. And like I said, we did have some items in there that were expired. I found like a bag of dates that I thought was still good, but it was actually expired. So anyway, super happy to get this done. So you can see here, ta-da! My rotating snack organizer. Now my kids better not ask me to fix them a snack ever again. Just kidding. Okay, so I also picked up these goldfish crackers on sale at Hy-Vee. Hy-Vee has been having the best sales lately. I think I got this huge box of goldfish crackers for like $3.99, and my kids love these, the flavor blasted ones. Sometimes Adam and I will snack on them too if we're like drinking beer, watching a movie. Instead of pretzels, we'll have some goldfish. So this fit perfectly in this OXO container. more that I got. And then I also had some popcorners chips. Those came in the Variety Fun box. So I went ahead and put those in the top of this organizer. Okay, so on the bottom of this organizer, I'm just putting a bunch of random items. Like I have a jar of farro and some craisins and some miso paste, like just random things that don't really fit anywhere else in my pantry. There's no like rhyme or reason to it. Hot chocolate, cocoa powder, etc. It's kind of just a good space to store little things like that. And then yes, I had more Cheez-Its that I needed to get into the pantry. So I'm putting those in the top of this other organizer. Basically, I just wanted to make sure that everything was in its place. And I like taking things out of the packaging. That's one comment I honestly get a lot on my videos from people that don't live in the United States. They're just like appalled at the amount of packaging we have here in the United States. And yes, it is an appalling amount of packaging. I agree with you. I don't know that we can really impact that on an on an individual level. However, I do recycle. We do have curbside recycling here, and I do recycle everything that I possibly can. So I feel like I'm doing my part, but in the larger scheme of things, yes, that is something that this country greatly needs to improve upon. Okay, I also had some of these Snap Pea crisps, and I put those into a container and put the lid on those. Those are going to be for my office. And then I had these pretzels that I was just trying to get rid, again, of more packaging in my pantry. And you'll see that I'm not able to fit all of these pretzels in there, so I have to end up taking some of them out and putting them in a little baggie. But basically, I was just trying to get everything in sealed containers so that it will last longer and not go stale. All right, so back upstairs to address some of the laundry. I had some towels in the dryer that I needed to pull out, emptied the lint trap, and then the items that I'd put into the washer earlier, like the kids' coats and swim coats and towels and things like that, those can all go in the dryer. I just usually make sure that I put it on a low heat setting because I don't want to damage anything. But obviously those kind of things you do have to tumble dry. So I'm going to get those in there with a dryer sheet. And then I wanted to get some of the kids' swimsuits washed. So I do try to wash those separately with a different type of detergent. I have this detergent that it's a Molly's Suds, I think is the brand. I have several of their products, and they're pretty good. This is specifically a swimsuit cleaner. I don't remember where I got this. Actually, I want to say I got it from Thrive Market. They have more and more cleaning stuff on their website every time I look on there now. But I do try to use this specialized detergent for swimsuits because it does help preserve them a little bit longer. And since my kids have been in the pool like every single day except for Sundays, their suits do kind of fall apart a little bit faster than the average swimsuit does. So I do try to use that when I can. Okay, so now we are starting to work on the fridge. Did this take me longer than I thought I was going to? Yes. Did I do it while Adam was watching the Super Bowl? Yes. Did I watch the Super Bowl? No. Do I care? Probably not. I probably would have watched the Super Bowl if the Chiefs were in it, but I had things to do. So the first thing that I'm going to do, which is normally what I do when I clean out my fridge, is just take everything out, because you'll be surprised at how many things you have in there that you forgot about, that are expired, that need to be thrown away, that are just gross. Things always get shoved back to the back of the fridge, and I found several condiments, dressings, tartar sauce that were expired, so I got rid of those. And other things I just wanted to kind of cut up and put into containers. There was some fruit I needed to wash, so this is the first step, everything out. The next thing that I did was take my produce drawers out. These actually come out quite easily, and it's nice because then you can just wash them in the sink. Here is the fridge with most everything taken out. I still need to take the deli drawer out, but I'm gonna get started by washing off one of the shelves. This is actually, it looks like a glass shelf, but it's actually like a really thick plastic. You guys have heard me talk about my refrigerator before. I don't necessarily dislike the design of it. It's plenty large. I talked to you guys before about how this is the very first fridge that I've ever had, that it's actually the very first fridge that I've ever gotten to purchase myself. And the first fridge that I've had with an ice and water dispenser in the door, I thought that was so fancy when we got it. The last 2 houses we lived in, we just used the fridge that was there when we purchased the house, and it was just like a run-of-the-mill like white Frigidaire fridge with like no fancy ice maker, no fancy fridge water dispenser, anything like that. And so when we got this fridge, I was so excited. It had the ice maker, it had the pull-out freezer, blah blah blah. It's a Samsung, and I don't know if you're not familiar, there is actually like a huge class action lawsuit against Samsung for these types of refrigerators because they have several different problems with the drainage and the ice dispenser. The ice dispenser actually, like, water runs down in there and melts, and we've already had to replace the ice dispenser once because the motor burnt out on it. And so there's this whole process where you have to like take the ice dispenser out, you have to like chip the ice into chunks, and then there's a problem with the drainage tube, which I think we fixed, but who knows. But it's just kind of frustrating, right? Because it's one of those things where it's like, okay, you finally like save up your money and spend, a lot of money on this fancy appliance, and it's like, boom, it doesn't even work right. I mean, it works right. It keeps our food cold and everything. It's like, I'm not complaining. It's interesting how that kind of stuff happens. So, okay. So now I am, again, rinsing out some of my containers and washing those. And I don't know what spilled in one of my bins, but there was sticky stuff all over. And so I had to get that all cleaned up. I do like that you can pull out the produce drawers from this refrigerator and put them in the sink and wash them out. It does help that I have a large basin sink. When we first built our house, I got a lot of questions about that. Not from YouTube, because I wasn't doing YouTube at that time. We actually built our house in like 2017, and I did not start posting YouTube videos until probably like late 2018, early 2019. So this predated that. But anyway, I got a lot of comments like from friends and family, and even the builder, about was I sure that I wanted this large basin sink? And I was like, yes, I do, because I do a lot of dishes and I do a lot of cooking, and it's so convenient to be able to wash things in the sink that are large. So something like this large drawer, or even the shelf that I was washing previously, or even like a large pot or pan or cookie sheet or something like that. It's so nice to have this large basin sink, and I would recommend it to anyone that is building or remodeling their kitchen, especially if you cook a lot. I think that it's awesome. Okay, so now that some of my drawers were washed out, I went ahead and dried those. The thing that I don't like about this fridge is that some of it you can take apart, but then you can't take things apart fully without them feeling like they're going to break. Like, for example, these produce drawers have like tabs in them where you'd think that you could take them apart to get all of the water out of there and soap, but when you try to do it, it feels like you're going to break the plastic, and then you just get scared and you're like, yeah, I'm not messing with this. So I don't know what the deal is. Maybe there's a proper way to do it. I'm not sure. As far as the other like fridge bin organizers that I use, I'll try and link some of those down below. Most of them I've gotten off Amazon, and I've done previous videos before where I organize my fridge and things like that. So you guys have probably seen those, been watching my channel for a while. You can pick up some of them at Walmart too. I think that having like the organizers in the fridge are nice in terms of corralling items, but I do feel like they take up a little bit more space. And that's one of the drawbacks of them. Okay, so I tried to take everything out of the fridge that I could and wash it in the sink, but I was not able to take out the top shelves of the fridge. So I'm just gonna go ahead and leave those in there, sprayed them with some multi-surface spray, and I'm just wiping them down with a hot cloth. Same with the bottom shelves. I'm just spraying those with some multi-surface spray. This is another thing that I wish I could get out of the fridge, is this glass shelf. I cannot figure out how to take it out without feeling like I'm gonna bust it. And I've been in different Facebook groups too for these Samsung fridges, and other people say the same thing, that they can't figure out how to take it out. So I don't know. I just do the best I can with what I have. That's all we can do, right? So once I got that wiped out, then I'm gonna start kind of restocking everything. Have you guys seen those like ASMR restocking videos on TikTok? And there's like obviously some on YouTube Shorts too, where they just like restock everything super quick, like with the eggs. They're like tick, 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 tick. Like, I'm like, I wish I was that organized that I could like make those kind of videos, but you guys will have to settle for me reorganizing my refrigerator twice a year, because that's about all I have energy for. But I do have to say, I really like this egg organizer. I think that it does a great job, and you can keep 18 eggs in it, and it is good because your eggs don't get crushed. Next, I'm going to restock some soda. This is actually sparkling water, the clear American kind. I do like this can holder. It only holds 10 cans, but I like it because it, you know, if the more soda and drinks like that you keep in your fridge, like just the more room it takes up. So I like just having like a small amount in there, and then we can replenish as we need more. So I'm going to restock some of the old juice pouches. These are great for the kids' lunches, and we don't actually go through these all that fast. I feel like I used to when the kids were smaller, but now they drink more water and more like flavored water and Gatorade and things like that. So I'm just getting those into this little container, which is super convenient. And then I'm back to the sink to wash up some more of my clear containers. Like I said, most of these I found on Amazon. I feel like I have found a few at Aldi too. Aldi is another place where you can find a lot of good organization products. The thing I find about Aldi is that you really have to go as soon as their ad comes out on Wednesdays. One of the things that they had in their ad a few weeks back was a copycat of the Always pan. I think they called it the Awesome pan. And I really wanted to do like a comparison for you guys, because I have an Always pan. You guys have heard me talk about it before, like it's not worth the money, etc. So I wanted to do like a compare and contrast between the Always pan and the Aldi Awesome pan. So I wish I would have been able to find that, but maybe if they bring it out again, I'll be able to find one and do that comparison. Okay, so my produce drawers are clean and dry, and I'm going to struggle getting those back into the fridge. Sometimes I line them with paper towel. I decided not to this time. I actually have some produce that I did not get washed up today that I need to, but eventually I'll have plenty of room in there. You guys will see at the end. So I always like to keep a tray of lemons and limes in my refrigerator as well. I like putting them in my water, and I use them for a lot of different recipes. Also use them in drinks, stuff like that. So I always like to make sure my fridge is stocked with those. Okay, so in this bin, I like to keep stuff like yogurt, applesauce, pudding, fruit cups, different things like that. Mostly this is the kids stuff, but the yogurt, I eat that. My kids are like weird about yogurt. Sometimes they like it and sometimes they don't. So I had some of these little Danimal smoothies. Those are Connor's. I put those in there. Some little mandarin oranges that I still had left over from Sam's from a long time ago. Some of my yogurt, and then I also stocked it with some of the applesauce pouches that I get from Aldi. These are no sugar added, and they're super convenient to add to the kids' lunches. And then in this container, I'm putting some like of our Lunchables, cheese and crackers, wraps, different things like that. Kira is really who eats these a lot. She likes the pepperoni wraps from Hormel, and then she also, Hillshire Farms has these little like snacking things. They come with like pepperoni cheese, some like little brownie bites in there. I also had some of the pepperoni roll-ups with the mozzarella cheese that I added in there, some chicken nugget Lunchables, and then also I have these naan breads. I need to figure out how I'm gonna use them up fairly quickly, or I need to freeze them. So I kind of shoved those in the back of there just so it would kind of help everything stand up. I really tried my hardest to have a Pinterest-worthy fridge for you guys. I don't know that it worked, but I tried. That's all that counts, right? Okay, so back to some more produce washing. I have some jalapenos that I wanted to wash up, some cherry tomatoes, and I think I threw a bell pepper in there as well. Just trying to get all of my produce cleaned. I haven't done the greatest job of this lately. Again, competing priorities on the weekend, but I really want to get back to prepping my produce and meal prepping every weekend and having some semblance of like a regular grocery schedule. So hopefully that will materialize, but it's always good to have all of that stuff like washed and prepped, because you're just going to use it that much quicker and easier. This is the deli meat tray that I pulled out earlier, so I just cleared everything out of it, and I'm spraying it down with some spray, and then I'm just going to wipe it out with a hot cloth, and then I finished by wiping it out with a paper towel. This is something that gets fairly dirty because we use it a lot. I think cheese is like the main food group in our house, so we always have a bunch of that needs organized and cleaned up. So I actually ended up putting in my deli meat drawer one of these. It's kind of like a rollout condiment organizer. I first had it on the top shelf of my fridge with like a bunch of bottles of condiments in it. The problem is with that is it gets really heavy and it's hard to roll out, and it's just kind of hard to use. So I ended up putting it in this drawer, and I'm going to organize our cheese in there. I had some different cheese sticks that we actually have kind of a lot right now, probably because Connor went to the grocery store with me and he's like, I want all this I want all this cheese. But I always consider cheese one of those snacks that's like, okay, if I tell you to go get a healthy snack, you get like a cheese stick and an apple and stop complaining, right? Like rather than a bag of chips or, cookies or something like that. I also put our turkey sticks in there. We had some American cheese that I needed to get out of its package. I hate those plastic packaging. So as long as I could get everything back in the drawer in some semblance of organization, that was my goal. I also typically keep all of our tortillas in this drawer. We make quesadillas a lot. Kira likes the spinach wraps for her lunch. I had some extra shredded cheese that hadn't been opened yet, so I went ahead and put that out in the garage. I had some different types of like blue cheese, goat cheese, stuff like that. Cream cheese, all the cheese. Cheese. And then I put the meat in the left-hand side. So not Pinterest worthy, but a lot better than it was. You can see here kind of how it all turned out. So I'm going to tuck that back into the fridge. And then I had some mandarin oranges. Sometimes I keep these in the fridge, but for today, I just put them in my fruit bowl colander. Next, I'm going to get all of my produce dried off, and I'm going to prep as much of my produce as I can. So I'll show you the containers that I'm going to put those in here in a little bit. Okay, so these long containers, they're not dishwasher safe. That's the bad thing about them. I'll link them below. I got them on Amazon. They're pretty inexpensive. I like them because they're a unique size and they fit pretty well inside the fridge. And they also have that little tray in the bottom, which helps keep the produce off the bottom of the container so that it doesn't get mushy. So I'm just adding all of my washed tomatoes into this one. And then yes, yet again, I had more strawberries that I needed to get washed up and cut. These I actually got from Aldi, and as I was cutting them, I'm like, yeah, these aren't that great. Like they're kind of hard and they're not very red. But anyway, my kids still eat them. Strawberries are probably one of their favorite fruits. Strawberries and grapes are probably their favorites, although they do really like apples with peanut butter too. You know what these long containers remind me of? They kind of remind me of Velveeta. Did you guys ever have like a plastic Velveeta container when you were a kid? Did your mom ever have that? For some reason, I'm like thinking that we had one of those when I was a kid, and I can't remember exactly what it looked like, but now it's reminding me of these like long produce storage containers. Random thoughts. Anyway, so I'm just going to finish cutting up these strawberries and getting those into the container, and my kids will probably eat these in like 2 days. So last up, I washed some grapes, and I'm just putting these into a container. Typically, I like to put a paper towel in the bottom to kind of wick up some of the moisture, but I totally forgot. So anyway, those are going in the fridge. My kids normally eat those pretty fast as well. All right, so here is the finished product. Like I said, not super Pinterest worthy, but it sure as heck looks a lot better than I started with. You can see that on the top shelf. I put most of like our condiments, cottage cheese, cream cheese, stuff like that. I left one of those rollout condiment bins up there and just kept our most commonly used condiments. I have my athletic greens back there, some peaches, cottage cheese, some leftovers. And then on this little shelf right here, which is like the weirdest size shelf, whatever, some bagels, some soup, some leftovers. We have our drinks there, eggs. And then I have our little snack containers with our citrus fruit, lemons, limes, all of the produce that I washed up, half and half, milk, drinks. And then as you can see, I need a little bit more produce. A lot of that is still out in my garage or fridge. I just ran out of time on this particular evening to get it done, but I'll get it done this week sometime. So overall, I was super excited that I got this done. As you know, it's always a challenge to keep the refrigerator organized, but it has to be done. So thank you guys so much for coming along with me on my video today. I really appreciate you spending this time with me, and hopefully this gave you some motivation to clean out your own refrigerator. Don't forget to check out Fuzzy. I will have that link in the description box below. You can go to yourfuzzy.com/Jen today to sign up for your free 7-day trial. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.